Hello, avid readers, book nerds, and casual observers, and welcome to the Read Along brought to you by the Lit Round Table. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Anna, and today we're talking about The Light of the Midnight Stars by Rena Rossner. All right, welcome to part 14 of
Hello.
The Light of the Midnight Stars. Okay, so our epigraph, darkness returns, and there are a lot of allusions to fire. Yikes.
I just wrote all caps, darkness.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So.
Darkness imprisoning me. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I got.
And then we get to Stanna, and she is wandering in the forest looking for owls instead of foxes now. She has got a big old case of the big sad. She is super jealous of her older sister, which, like, I totally got where she was coming from. Because as a single person, I'm super happy for people that I know that have gotten, like, married for their second time or third time or whatever. If they're I don't want them to not be happy, but it's like, man, you get 2 turns. When do I get 1 turn? I just want 1 turn.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I totally get where Stanna's coming from. Yeah. And then, like, she's so depressed. She's like, I wonder if I go deep enough into the woods if I'll come out a changed creature. Like, I'll be someone new. And, yeah. So she's in this very, like, desperate place.
Mm-hmm. And while she's in this desperate place, she sees a tuft of red running through the forest. And she actually sees a fox. And she starts to entertain the thought that maybe this is Gabrielle. She's chasing the fox. Eventually she reaches her hand out to the fox, but the fox bites her hand.
Well, that's after she realized that there's a black mist curling around her ankles. I
thought that was after that.
No. She sees a fox and follows it. Black mist is curling around her ankles. The fox, notices, turns around and notices that she's got black mist around her, and then, starts to approach her. And so I was thinking, maybe this fox is trying to warn her, hey, you're in danger. And then she reaches out her hand for it, and then it bites her. Then I was like, well, maybe not. Maybe this fox is just a fox. And then she tries to run. Now she's running from the fox. And that's when she twists her ankle when she falls.
It's kind of a horror movie moment.
Yes.
Oh no, I twisted my ankle. Oh no, I can't run anymore.
And then the mist covers her and takes the pain away. And I was like, oh my gosh. Did we just lose one of our sisters?
Right. But no, we did not.
No.
She wakes up hearing pounding on a door, and she hears Theodora's voice. She's at Constantine's house saying, let me in, I have Stanna. She's hurt. So Theodora found her in the woods and rushed her to Anna and Constantine so that Anna could... Well, I don't think she knows that Anna's a healer. She just rushed her to Constantine's because Constantine's her dude,
and Anna's her big sister. So
and Anna's her sister. But then Anna's like, oh, I can heal her. I just need to be alone with her. And so Anna is working on healing Stanna.
Yeah. And Stanna has a moment of, oh yes, I'm with Hannah now. Hannah will help me. And this is one of the first times we've heard their old names again. Other than when she revealed that her name is Sarah to Theodora. But she's like, oh, Hannah, that's right. Hannah's really good at this. And then so Hannah's I need you guys to leave so that I can do this because she doesn't want them to know that she's got these magic-y powers. And then Theodora decides to tell her a story before Hannah can even do anything. So I'm sure my vision of this is that Anna/Hannah is standing there like, I need you to get out so I can save my sister. And then Theodore's like, let me tell you a story. And she's like, oh my gosh, get out of my house.
Yeah.
So I can take care of my sister.
I guess I visualized it as like Anna prepping stuff for like healing
Maybe.
while the story's happening. But at the same time, Anna even said, all I need is water.
Right.
So like not a ton of prep needed.
And she had sent Constantine to get the water. So it was like, she's ready to go.
Yeah. She's just kind of there listening to this weird redhead spout off a story. But the story, in all fairness, is really important.
Yes. Incredibly important. But, like, why now?
So,
well, I guess we kind of know why. Because she reveals that she could hear Stanna in the woods. Like, hear her thoughts. Or hear her crying out. Or something. Some such thing. And she reveals that it's because of this story.
Yeah. Basically, it turns out her dad is the Black Dragon. The Smoke Walker. So this is her... Okay, I'm just trying to get the story straight. Her bio dad, who is not actually there, like, ruling the kingdom. He was the guy that was there before. That this usurper guy, who was, like, her stepdad, overthrew, correct? And then married the old guy's wife.
I can't tell if he overthrew him or if there was, like, a power vacuum. Because this story leads us to believe that, like, her dad disappeared and then this other guy stepped in.
Yeah. So that's true. So basically, in this story, her dad is the Black Dragon. So basically, his pregnant wife. His wife is pregnant, and he's super happy about it. He's gonna like make a what's the word? Like a shrine, not a shrine.
He built a tower for her, basically.
Yeah. And he hires this builder to come in and make it. And the builder says that in order to, like, properly...
It's weird because every time they build it, it crumbles overnight. So they have to rebuild it every night or every day because it keeps crumbling. Yeah,
but then the builder guy says the only way to ensure that it'll, like, be able to stand and be around forever is basically if you, like, entomb your wife in there. Like,
I have so many questions about this. Yes. Because he's like, well, he didn't specifically say his wife. He just said the person who was closest to you, which, like, is his wife.
Which is,
his pregnant
wife.
So, like, he's like, well, okay, sure. Because it was something for the child. So, like, if they entomb his wife, then, like, this thing would be built correctly, and then he would have a happy child. And in my head, I was like, if you entomb your wife, who is pregnant,
there will be no child.
There will be no child. Unless you're going to, like... I don't know. There's, like, no feasible way for that to make sense.
The man clearly was not in his right mind.
Right.
But basically, he does it. They trick the wife into coming in and saying, "We need to, like, measure your pregnant belly,
right,
for the measurements of the tower, so that, like, the peak of it will match the measurements of, like, of you when you were pregnant." And it's like, oh, this beautiful thing. Oh, awesome. And so they, like, I just imagine they start, like, laying bricks around her, and she's just, like, getting a little more and more concerned the higher they get.
Right, absolutely. And that has to be what happens.
Choose to not get out. Like, oh, this is weird. I guess I'll just stay here and let you, like, put bricks all around me.
Right.
And
well, what's more is, like, he tells her that they're going to do this, and she's like, okay. And then as they're walking, because they take these daily walks, he prays for a rainstorm that would deter her. And the rainstorm comes and it doesn't bother her. And then he prays for a fox, and a fox comes and she feeds it grapes. Which I was like, we've heard about foxes and grapes before. This is weird. And then he prays for a
Mm-hmm.
star to fall. And a star does fall. But she continues on. I'm like, oh my gosh, we've got the rainstorm, which is Anna, or Hannah, and the fox, which is Stanna, even though she's a snake,
In the star.
and the star, which is obviously Laptitza. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the three sisters are showing up in the story. That is really weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
It's also weird, though, because Laptitza is the one that told the story about the weird fox with the grapes.
Right. I have so many
So-
questions.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I noticed that, too, when I was reading it.
And the mother is just like, yeah, cool. And then she just keeps going until she's entombed in this thing.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he like rage quits, basically.
He realizes after it's done, like, oh, if she's dead, then my kid won't be born and there will be no baptism for my kid.
Right.
You know? Like, well, yeah, you idiot.
Oh.
So then she does get freed. I think that,
Because
I forget how.
he like destroys himself or disappears or something. And then she gets out of the tower and has Theodora.
Like it crumbles down.
It crumbles or something, and
Or something.
I don't think it crumbles.
Yeah.
She somehow gets out of it.
All this to say, I read this last night and it was pretty late. So, but all this to say, the black dragon becomes this kind of like mythological thing where when he'll return one day, and when he does, he'll rule forever. And some people like want the black dragon to return
And because
to be king of the land.
yeah, and because of her connection with the black dragon, she was able to hear through the black mist that Stanna was in trouble. That's how it's all connected here.
Yeah.
So, and then
But the black mist, I'm also trying to figure out why the black mist showed up in their old town, because that was nowhere, that had nothing to do with
right,
Wallachia, you know? So I'm like, is the black mist looking specifically for these girls? And then you guys decided to run away and you ended up in the same like town where the black mist originally came from. That's a bummer.
right,
You know?
right, yeah. Unless the black mist knows that these three sisters are the embodiments of the things that he prayed for and failed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and maybe him messing with the town they were in before, he was trying to get them to leave, and he kind of like ushered them towards his area, you know, into Wallachia. He was kind of like leading them there so that he could have more influence over them.
Yeah, maybe.
And the queen still, but it also said in that epigraph that the queen still has control over this smoke walker spirit of the black dragon. So
right.
like,
So he's not a physical embodiment of a man anymore.
right.
And she can still call upon him. I don't know. It's very confusing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, I like it, but I have
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many questions.
I'm just trying to wrap, because it's also, we're like being communicated these things through like stories, and it all feels so like mythological. I just want to know like for realsies, okay, what is happening?
Right. Quit telling stories and just tell us what happened. Give me the facts, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
yeah.
So that story
and then
happens.
basically she finishes her story and Anna's like, okay, but really, I need you to leave.
Get out.
And then she
And Anna does her thing.
and Stanna like feels like comforted and warmth, and then it's like almost oppressively warm, and she like kind of freaks out a little bit. And then Theodora offers to take Stanna with her to Bulgaria, that she will never leave her again, and she's sorry because she thought that by leaving her alone it would like allow her to get over her and whatever, and
Not so.
so it's kind of an Edward move. I'm going to run away to the Vatican. Or wherever he went.
Come with me.
Not the Vatican.
The Volturi.
Thank you. The vampire did not go to the Catholic Church.
But there's something that... There was also another moment where Anna and Stanna are talking about... Well, Fyodor just said, will you go with me to Bulgaria? And Anna asks, is this what you want, Sarah Lee, or whatever... like the name is, like the Jewish name is, and I was just like, oh,
yeah.
She said your Jewish name,
right?
Aw.
It felt like a breakthrough moment
yes.
for the girls. I thought.
Yeah. So Stanna is going to go to Bulgaria, and that's pretty much where that section ends with. Theodora saying, I'll never leave your side again, and Stanna saying, don't make promises you can't keep. Which is foreboding and ominous. Don't say things like that.
In her defense, that has been the track record of her life.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. But yeah, can we have some hopefulness?
Then we move on to Laptitza, which was very, very short. Basically just no Starman.
Waiting on Starman. That's my only note.
Yeah. She has not met up with Starman at all. Since you put a ring on it.
Yep.
Not cool to ghost someone after you marry them. But.
Right. Even if you are a star. Gosh.
Yeah. And then we have an Anna chapter. Sorry, Anna chapter.
Yeah, do not call this an Anna chapter.
Well, I was reading, I had the name written down, and I'm so used to reading that name as Anna.
I know. This chapter...
It was an Anna chapter.
Would you like to hear my notes on this chapter?
Sure, yeah.
My first note is flirting and awkward newlywed. And sex. And pregnancy prophecy, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically my notes were just, she does start off saying that she's worried for Stanna because she's telling Constantine, like, she's been in love before, I don't want her to get hurt, all this stuff. But then it does kind of just turn into awkward newlywed flirting and, like,
I should say
dining room table sex.
Right. I should say awkward, like, for me, because I feel like I'm intruding. I don't think that they were being awkward. They were being cute, but... It's like, I feel awkward because I shouldn't be here.
When you're like reading it, it feels a little voyeuristic.
Right.
I shouldn't be witnessing this.
Right. Yeah.
But then she says that she thinks that she's going to get pregnant from that moment. From that, she thinks there's a conception happening with that.
Yeah. And there's like, she's drawing allusions to this. She's calling forth a tree from the ground beneath them, and it's going to grow in their house. And
also like a metaphor of like seeds sprouting, and I am not here for it. So we're going to move on. Well, that's it. That's it. So basically that's it for this section.
I was very succinct.
Yeah. We're going to end it there. So yeah, that's this section, part 14. Part 15 is out if you're listening or watching, so go check it out there. It'll be the last section of this
week
portion of reading, and then we'll see you in a couple weeks with the next section. But yeah, so go check out the next episode 15 or part 15, whatever. It's available now. Until then, happy reading.
We'll talk at you next time.
Later.
Bye.